Private Living Rio 11 February 2023. A third part of our conversation, quite simple, quite clear. Today is pretty hot, no sweet. It's Saturday, you know, and we will kind of have the first part as the introduction. The second part was the contextual analysis, and the third part, the data asset. We could observe during this effort that the similarity traced by failure at the intention affect the legal premise, and the second premise as conformance made as imposed at the institution in solidarity by fail is the conformance by the activism affecting the government, the cooperative area, and the state. The tracer was quite clear. You could observe that this gap is a gap considering the Euclidean space after have the Banach space traced and qualified, or at least codified. We observe that goes at the relation debit and credit on your personal accounts and finances in the same way as the supply and demand on your microeconomy and the markets affected by the same failure at the conformance with the patterns, and it's impacting the relation of the credit until have this impacting the relation of the credit between nation as the macro conjuncture. The conjuncture analysis in global scale is a fraud. We shouldn't be submissive and accept, for instance, the unique asset as data of the central bank or the World Bank if we have the institutional corruption ruling the game in global scale by failure. As we already proved one more time, the gap is a logical gap. Its failure already offered the database Sigma, and could observe that the most powerful nation and self-declared and claimed this the most freely nation around the globe has moral crisis by the promiscuous relation of different sides, leaving the lost as capacity to do the difference between different things. Indeed, it's named corruption, no dismiss at the corporate area, no destitution at the public department, and not good behavior of a judge as inferior and superior court allows the compensation indeed only if you have this good behavior. Not having, you do not have the righteous compensation. We could observe that the conformance will have this one more time as activism using the chair or the public power for the conformance of your interest. It's named self-dealing. It's a crime. The crosscut uses the Heckscher Hoyle model in the CMAGO, allow it to get this tracing by the concurrence association of different areas, setting the free zone as free market. We could track the supply chain and observe that huge things got by the physiological stimulation. The physiological stimulation in global scale can be equally traced using this model from the conjuncture alpha and beta using the Mintzberg design, having the minor as regression segments A and B like public and corporate and public departments and corporate offices, and you have the risk behavior as a variable human resource who do the hiring process of internal control, the chief. Who do the contracts and sign budgets, the chief. Who is the risk, the chief. Which we are doing, what kind of activity? The law and order review based operation Cgqm, which implies the review of overpriced contracts signed by the chief. The chief is fucked or fired, but if fired, must be on jail or do the plea bargain factoring criminal research using our housebound theory, legally charged under constitutional conformance not only in Brazil to track the bank with accounts of criminals signed by overpriced contracts. Self-dealing must be on court the budget used, which the decision observing the equivalence. The decision is against your company, against the rationality of the financial system and even the economy. You do not respect the limited resources premise of economy, violate the science. It's cultural destruction. One more time. contract signed, it's one individualization, the other one is by the charge oriented, and against the values are qualified by the failure. We could have this ranking by the most promiscuous zone. Please, Federal Bureau of Investigation review with the Chicago school, considering that the new class has quite clear the rational expectation of economic agents. The systematic behavior is not aleatory, indeed it is very intentional. In the same, we could prove changing the flow at the financial system by the control you had nowadays. A lot of derivation, I would say, of the credit as cryptocurrency, but currency flowing as what? If it's crypto, it's hidden, but not anymore. Unveil theory as judicial theory America doing the economic control by the type of flow, controlling the value oriented by negative one as equivalence relation, and the energy used as contrary, very contrary against the pattern and standards that you have, including the law, the constitution, and the conformance, and the use of state power, misguided or misused, it's a treason, hedges treason, budget, the budget, this was on 2021, January. We are on 2023. What you did until this time? Nothing, because America can claim the guiltiness of the offender against the organized crime without being affected by the decision against the organized crime. Your events are set to 2028, a lot of budgets on it, a budget, and the same we observed in Japan 2022. You must have the institutional dialogue with Japan, especially from central banks and the players at your environment, and even from 2028 to avoid that you kind of got in a serious situation in America. Academic support, ideal relation, macro and micro, set the conjuncture, sigma and global scale, function density from micro to macro, not respecting the limits, and they gave me the idea as the authorization as physiological mobilization with bank accounts failure, but the jet and decisions equally failure, the contract, the signatures on each individualized by who is leading this. If it's decision at the top and only belongs to the top, the guiltiness is always starting against the top. The approach as database sigma, with the system having this information not available on central bank or World Bank, if they are kind of inside the problem. And by silence, the blind association is one of the directors at the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We set an investment system considering this payroll used as premise 1% of first 3 trillion to flow, 33 trillion plus 4 trillion as penalties and fees, and cases, some billions, fees and penalties in the same way. The penalties by the hoax. The hoax during the credit charge is white collar crime. The hoax made as operative pattern indeed is obstruction of justice, traced by value negative one. In the same way you could observe this before, the integration, the interaction, the criminal activity, the pattern. It's a principle of counting, the integration of counting, giving a complex number in global scale qualified by a single thing as qualitative argument negative one. The COBOL allowed me to track this. Inside institution only goes inside institution but access space. We will observe now that the interaction, for instance, that I have between the east, the west, and the center got unveiled because I had the interaction at east, west, and center failure here to spread the influence in all areas. Are they here? You only have this proof, for instance, have the tax examination. If the property evaluation regular is like this, and they present, you can use that diagram, for diagram. Regular, point. Equivalent behavior, they kind of are doing things with a contrary sense. So this point will be here, this point will be here. It's like this. And now, kind of, it's a contrary sense. Now you have a contrary direction. The sense against your statement or institution because it's stealing your saving account or your budget. Now the direction is against the law to have the conformance doing the treason of the state power. This projection indeed from here to here, from here to here. First movement. Now from here to here, from here to here. This movement here. Is this confirmed? It's the, how the four quadrants is present. Now we will observe that indeed this functionality here got corrupted by the value -1 as exponential index, which is the top decision made, is a criminal decision, running your system as a criminal thing. Put things until here, and then we decide, yes, what to box this entire thing, put the -1 here, and having the operative sense from this area that did the cooperation, and kind of they are obtain the privilege and plea bargain and other things, and setting only this crap here, which is inside the regular IRS Banax space. Why they are not on jail? If they are qualified as the conformance with the theory presented by us as authentic, here. They are here. The silence is a crime. We are proving just a morality crisis in USA that is unable to have a decision against the organized crime without being affected by the decision as organized crime. The concurrence of criminal activity in global scale goes like this because the crime activity takes advantage of your fail. Goes on Europe, goes on Asia, goes on America, and unfortunately was proved that the Brazil is integrated fail. Any question? The strikes made against me and hoax indeed are made like this, including the scams as fake records and events, and creating a lot of things because I'm representing the legitimacy of the credit. Indeed, we are proving that you had them enough interest to do your homework, and your homework is kind of really about your bank system and budget, the transferences, infrastructure, and now you consider that hit me like this, you will impact the legitimacy of the credit. Is this white collar crime, criminal offender? Of course it's white collar crime because you are running a criminal system. Have a nice Saturday.